You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
What up, Ronnie?
Hi.
Hey,
Are you
Jeff.
nervous? Well, you have to talk into the mic.
Jeff, you have to talk to the mic. Yeah, this isn't like a mime podcast.
Not nervous.
Wait, hold on. Is this mic on?
Is it on?
Is it on? Testing.
Now it's
now it is
on.
good.
Now it's
Okay.
on.
All right. No, not nervous, but grateful for you guys allowing me to participate with you
It's
on
all right. You'll
this.
blow us later. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Right out of the box.
Make
Wow.
sure your mom listens after 45 seconds.
Got it.
Yeah, if she knows how to access it. I think that's the beauty is that Bubby always, my grandma always asks.
she's a little bit different than his mom. His mom's with it normal.
But does she know how to access a podcast? I don't know.
He'll show it.
Although apparently my fiance's grandparents listen to the podcast, so it's like,
Interesting.
worries me a little.
Well, it's too late now.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
already
of
getting
course.
married and
But
you're
then-
a good guy. Come on.
No, of course, but you never know.
What about me? There's all the shit out there that I say.
Yeah, but
I'm already married.
and also like everyone,
I don't
you're
give
already
a fuck, right?
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm hoping
It
my
is what it
mother
is.
just wouldn't get the reference.
Your mom's very with it. She knows her shit. But a great lady, and I love you. I was friends. So this is our very, very good and close friend, Jeff, who I've known a long time, who actually, his parents were friends and client of mine before we became friends. Correct, Jeff?
That is correct.
And we were just at brunch with his mom at the club, and we said, fuck it. We're going to make an exception, which we never do, and we're going to allow Jeff on it, who is nice because Jeff is a New York liberal, right, Jeff?
A New York liberal.
Well,
Yes.
you guys are fairly similar, to be like honest, but then I guess different on the political spectrum. You two are fairly similar in your.
He's a little more gay-like, though, don't you think? A
I
little
don't
more
know.
like a chick?
I don't know.
Really? What the fuck?
Maybe more like a chick, but
I don't.
you both have like gayish tendencies.
I don't have the sparkly Gucci shoes.
Right, exactly. See,
You wish you did, though. You wish you did.
and you're the one that just said, "Don't worry, you'll blow me after." As payment.
Real right. And this is really this is by the
Thank
way,
you,
this is
Bronny.
with Hannah's family.
Yeah,
she's married into. Real nice.
I'll label
So yeah,
this.
so Jeff's parents were friends of mine and clients, and then Jeff and his sister became friends as well. And now Jeff and his wife, we hang with, we get together with, and it's all good, Jeffrey.
Yeah,
It's all good.
if I could tie it in to the
Yes,
show,
tie it in.
Daddy Issue show, my father always thought it would be great if you and I met and got together and that we'd be fast friends. And I would say
He was right.
And I'd say, Dad, I've got plenty of friends in Florida. I don't have time. I'm not looking to make new friends. And when my father passed,
Terrible loss, by the way. Great
Uh,
fucking man.
thank you.
Great man.
When he passed and I got the opportunity to meet you on my own terms, connecting with you has meant the world to me because I know it was important to him.
Love you, brother.
And because I feel a kinship. I feel like we share that.
I agree.
All right, now you got to call him gay or something.
No,
I was
I
too
agree.
sappy
No,
for the
Jeff's a
podcast.
fucking quality guy. So can I tell a little cool? I think I told you a story of how cool your dad is. So when his dad, great fucking human being. Like it makes me. I mean, he's not even my dad, and I get tears. Like it's just a terrible loss. Greatest human being, great husband, great fucking father to his kids. Just a really large in life guy. So years and years. This has got to be, I don't know, 20 years ago when we had our place in North Carolina and I was working the summers up there. And your dad was like buying like, I don't know, like maybe 200 units at the time. And he had like $1 million deposit down. And I miscalculated. Did I tell you the story?
You miscalculated the
I
closing
miscalculated one day on the inspection period expiring. So what happened was like, for example, if you have, let's say, a 30-day due diligence, you can get your deposit back for any reason. And I miscalculated like 31 days. So what did I do? Which is a good lesson as well. And your dad had that real, talk like this, Jules. He talked like this
from the Bronx.
the way he was. He was a great guy. So what happened was, Bronny, I fucked up. I was young and I made, we all make mistakes as lawyers and people in life, whatever. So I missed it. I was one day over. So I called him up. He didn't even know, by the way. I called him up my own. I said, Jules, I got to tell you something. I said, I fucked up. I said, I missed the inspection. I thought it expired today. It actually expired yesterday. So I said, I just wanted to let you know, Here's my malpractice carry. Here's all my information. He goes, John, let me see what I can do. Let me see what I could do if I'm going to retrade it. What the deal? Blah 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 blah. Because he was a great businessman negotiator. So he calls me a day later. He goes, I'm still buying the place, but I want to let you know. He goes, your honesty. That's what he said. And he was like, this was like one of the first deals I was doing. He goes, you taking ownership and you call me and you bring it to my attention. You're my lawyer for life. And he became like a parent, a mentor, whatever. And we became very close. Did we not?
Yes.
And that was how he and I started our very long-lasting both client and friendship relationship, and now we're close. I love your wife, your kid. You know, it's so funny how it evolved. But that's, I always tell people the most things you learn from are the mistakes that you never forget.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I tell a story, and I've had other mistakes in my life too. I'm just saying I'm far from perfect, but you learn from them, you become better from them, and it just reminds me of that story because you're here and you're his son. So.
I am a real estate lawyer, as are you. I practice in New York, and I tell my associates, you will make mistakes. We all do. I have. And you should come and tell me as quickly as you realize
so you can
made the
fix
mistake.
it.
Because I'm better at fixing it.
Correct.
Right? I have more experience
100%.
in fixing these things.
100%.
It is scary, that shit, though, sometimes. Like,
I'm
I'm in
Bronny, it is scary,
I'm in
Bronny.
professional responsibility and ethics class, which we have to take, and then
Right.
I'm taking the MPRE in 2 weeks, so it's like, we're learning all these ethics rules, and our teacher, like our professor, is just drilling into our head like all of the things that can go wrong, and there's
scary.
so much shit that like you can do that you don't even like realize, or you accidentally just forget something, and then you can be fucked.
Oh,
It's
there's
scary.
major life. So I
As a lawyer, I'm saying.
so you have a bigger firm than I do. So my malpractice is only a couple of $1 million a year, but the real estate market is like, I'm doing $50-60 million transactions. Some even lot.
Humble brag.
No, I'm saying meaning. So you're sending out wires for $50 million.
Yeah.
And
That's so nerve
no,
wracking.
and there's, by the way, every day I'm sending out wires for millions of dollars every day, literally every single day. Now you have authentication, double verification, but there's still error. Okay, so one wire of 30 million, you're out of business.
Yeah.
Done. No, you're literally done. No, it gives me chills talking about
scary.
it. But that's just liability. Now, what about if look, practicing law as we lawyers, and you are an up and coming lawyer to be.
Not a lawyer yet. Can't say it.
I said up and coming lawyer to be.
I know. I'm just saying, like, that's another thing in our professional responsibility class. Like, if I call myself a lawyer, I could fuck myself for getting the bar.
Yeah, you're not good. But I hear it.
I got
Especially publicizing it to the world on a
Correct.
podcast.
I get it, but you shouldn't do that.
No, of course. But some people have, like, in
Idiots.
their LinkedIn, like law clerk or something. And apparently, like, you're not supposed to have that because that signifies that, like, you're practicing law at a law firm.
Interesting.
And it's published to the world.
It's scary.
Ronnie, I'm a UM law grad. I know you're at UM Law. And
An alumnus.
I got my lowest grade in law school in that professional responsibility ethics class. And if you ask any of my partners or friends, they'll tell you there's no problem with me and my ethics.
Yeah.
The teacher in that class, and I wouldn't tell this story if I had cheated, but accused me and my friend, who was one of the top 5 students in the class, of cheating on the final in the ethics exam,
class.
What
which
a
I
dick.
never would have done
Guy
and didn't
or
do.
girl?
He was a young male.
Huh.
But how do you even? I don't even really know how you cheat was it like
So,
multiple choice?
yeah. So
We
it's
had
multiple
ours were
choice.
200 questions, correct?
There were a lot of questions.
The
It wasn't
NPR.
MPRE.
Oh, okay.
NPRE
This was
is
our
multiple
final
choice.
in the course.
Yeah.
And I guess he felt that given where we were sitting, that there was a pattern of incorrect answers that we both got
That were
wrong.
similar.
She was in my study group. I mean, our
Right. So you
outline
had,
might have been wrong,
right.
but we certainly didn't cheat.
Yeah.
And
that's not the exam you're going to cheat on either.
No.
Right.
Right. Too ironic.
Right.
It's hard to cheat in law school exams, especially 90% of my exams are written, which I like. I'd much rather written exams. But we had in my last exam last semester, 2 weeks after the final, I got an email from the dean of the law school that was like,
Second semester, first year.
no, this was like 2 months ago,
Okay.
last semester.
So you got Go ahead.
First semester, second.
Right, I'm with you.
The dean emailed us, was like copyright. It was for copyright law. Copyright. What's there's like a honor court. It's called copyright honor court violation or investigation. I was like, what the? because that's scary to get
Yeah, of
an email
course,
from the
yeah,
dean. It was to the whole copyright section. They were like, we have reason to believe that someone in the class cheated. So if anyone has any information, and if anyone didn't recognize someone in the class or something looked out of the ordinary, please let us know.
Interesting.
So someone, we were all thinking like someone probably hired someone
to go and take
come in
the
and take the
like
test
Suits,
for
what they
them.
did with Suits.
I haven't watched Suits, but yeah.
Go on.
Suits LA. Well, I never figured out what happened to it. I never followed up, but
So here's an ethical question. So if you knew somebody was cheating, would you come forward?
Well, you're obligated
I
to
have
for the
to.
honor code.
Okay,
I would-
forget about the obligation thing.
But if I-
because there's a thing, even in practicing law, you still have to use your
But if they
common
found
sense
out
and
that
what-
I knew the honor council at UM, I wouldn't get a bar license. They would report it to the ABA. They would report to the ABA if I signed into a class that I wasn't in, or if I signed you in to a class on the sheet and you didn't come because you asked me to sign in, I could risk my bar license. I mean, they
there's
try
so
to
many
scare us.
bad fucking lawyers out there, right? Don't you deal with those incompetent idiots every fucking day? There's so many bad lawyers.
They were bad lawyers.
You wonder how people pass the fucking bar and get a law degree because they're so fucking bad and stupid. And either I'm that good, which I don't think that I am. I think I'm good, but I'm not that good. They're fucking dumb, these people I deal with every day.
Well, I think what's worse are those that get themselves in trouble, and then they're not dumb, but they're purposely trying to do the wrong thing.
Well, that shit's
Well,
crazy.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that are great lawyers that are doing really scummy stuff, and they never get found out because they're quote unquote great lawyers.
No,
So
but
it's hidden.
But you read about people that get disbarred and all that. I mean, look, if you are doing shit where you're touching your client's trust money, you have serious problems because it's not you may get caught. It's when you're getting caught. You're 100% getting caught. You're getting caught. You got to reconcile your accounts. I mean, you have to do that. So yeah, you got big drug problems, gambling, whatever it is.
Or just
that's
greed.
what it is. Well,
I don't think it's
the
greed.
But like
I think
Madoff
it's the
and
problems.
stuff, like that's just greed.
I think it's the problems. My father used to say people are only as honest as their circumstances allow them to be.
Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting statement.
Yeah, but also like you can be, I mean, I guess easier said than done. You can be in like a very, very tough situation and have a strong backbone and not be dishonest.
You could, but if you have an account with a couple $1 million and your back is up against the wall, it's a tempting situation.
Definitely
Whereas if
tempting.
you weren't a lawyer and didn't have access to those funds.
But I think that's what then separates like the good
Criminals and non-criminals. I mean,
or just like the strong, like, steadfast on the like
Listen,
moral right path from the ones who are not.
Listen.
It doesn't make them necessarily bad people.
no, but
You make a mistake or
well, you
make the
are.
wrong
That's not a
choice.
mistake because
If you
you're
make the
taking
wrong
someone
choice.
else's money. There's a difference of
Yeah.
fucking up as a lawyer and you inverted a number on the wire and that wire went out and you can't get it back. You made a mistake, or you put trust in somebody and that person's fraudulent and somehow you made a bad legal decision that now they're investigating you. That could be stupidity, whatever it is. But when you're taking someone's fucking trust money, okay, that's like going into their house when they're fucking out of the house, knowing the safe combination, taking out all the fucking jewelry and using it for your own personal well-being. That's a criminal. And you're held to higher standards of fiduciary. But I think the scariest part about practicing law today, where I differ from when we've been doing it 30 years, right, is there's so many between the internet, the corruption, the volume of lawyers, the incompetence of lawyers, and the greed that we have to practice law for the benefit of the client and also cover our own ass at the same time.
But what does that have to do with the internet? Why would that make it worse? Why wouldn't that make it better?
I'm saying, for example, like you would say if you speak to a client on the phone and the client, let's say it's a one-off client and they don't, and shit went bad, they're going to come after you, so you might have to confirm things via email or put in writing.
But doesn't that make it even better? Because, like, look, I have a very strong paper trail where before it might have been word of mouth.
The difference is when we started practicing and we were
was
using
different.
fax machines, someone couldn't shadow what we were doing, seeing our emails, seeing our texts, and that's what happens. You open something up on the internet or someone in your network from your firm opens it up, and then there are people who can track your emails. So they see that you're emailing a client about wiring money.
Oh, so you're talking about like hacking and stuff.
So fraud's
Right.
a big
We
thing.
didn't have to deal with that kind of hacking.
Never.
The fraud was old school, easier to recognize.
To not find out. Yeah.
But it is scary because I find that the deals are larger today because everything's more expensive, right? And there's a lot more wealth out there.
And You're more prominent in your practice. You're dealing with bigger deals. Bigger
Okay,
clients.
good point.
Hold it
Right.
closer.
Good point. Good point. But the thing is, it's scared of the liability that we have.
Yes.
Because each deal is larger, therefore is greater liability.
You're making me nervous to go back to practicing.
No,
this week.
that's why you can never compromise your shit when dealing with clients. You'll have clients ask you things that are somewhat great all the time. Never fucking do it. Even if a client says, I'm going to pay you cash, can you give me a discount? The answer is unfortunately no, because you say yes, whatever they think you're not going to declare it, and then you got to look over your shoulder. It's not worth it, period. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Scary. All right, let's move on to some exciting stuff.
I don't have much exciting stuff.
Yeah,
well,
you do.
I don't know.
What do we got going?
Speaking of declaring, Trump apparently is going to fire a bunch of IRS people tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday
Well, it's closed.
on President's Day.
Day.
So then
gonna-
I guess on Tuesday,
It's his day.
President's Day.
It's his day.
No, I think President's Day is for our founding fathers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the
Is
only
your
reason-
school open tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is your office open?
I'm not sure. I'm in Florida.
Bryce's work is closed. President's Day, the only reason why it's now is because George Washington was born last week and Abraham Lincoln is born this week. So they just kind of chose it as
Gotcha.
President's Day this weekend. It was just a random.
So he's getting rid of a lot of our IRS
Apparently,
people?
that's what
All
the
right.
rumor mill is.
And now, what happened with this threat with Hamas? With they weren't released by Saturday at noon. What happened with that?
They released. The hostages for this Saturday were released.
But
so
Trump said
no, but he said
of them.
all. They only did 3 this Saturday. He said all, if I'm not mistaken.
He said if all
Right, not in tranches.
if all of the hostages aren't released by
Hell's gonna
Saturday
break.
at midnight or noon, then I would rescind the ceasefire deal. But he doesn't have any position to rescind the ceasefire deal. It's not his deal. So I think he was just because I guess if Israel doesn't rescind the deal, then so be
Right.
it. But when I saw that happen, that was just to me. It seems like Trump wanted. It seems like Trump and Netanyahu don't want Gaza to still exist. Like they're happy to keep going to war. And so the ceasefire deal was what Trump ran on. So he forced it to happen right before he became president so that it could be like a political win. And then now that he's in office, he's going to force Hamas's hand because how could they release all the hostages within 1 week? Logistically, how do you even do that, right? They're not all
I
just
don't
in
know
one.
who's even alive.
Right. So it's like, I think that was an impossible ask. And so I think he's trying to force the ceasefire to end now. And so then they can continue war because Netanyahu clearly wants war. And why wouldn't Trump want war? Trump literally said he wants to turn Gaza into
a vacation place.
into the Middle East, the Riviera of the Middle East. So it's like, why
He'll
do we want
make
a
it
ceasefire?
happen too.
Trump,
that's
Trump
not a good
Gaza.
thing.
He'll make it happen. And
I don't think that's a good thing.
Netanyahu just wants to annihilate and just start over.
Start over. What does that mean?
I mean, just like get rid of every last tumor in the body.
Is the 3-year-old a tumor?
No, I know we've had these conversations. I'm
I
just
know,
saying.
but
no, we'll take that kid and raise
but then
like it's
also
our
no
own.
one is like thinking of the ramifications, and that's my. If you just annihilated people, when Nazi Germany. I mean, not to harken back always to Nazi Germany, but this is on playing the other side. Nazi Germany was one of the most powerful countries in the entire world in 1939. And then they decided they wanted to wipe out the Jews. And then 4 years later, they didn't exist as a country anymore because every other country in the entire world was like, you guys can't do that. And they literally bombed them into oblivion. Israel and America are like, yeah, we think we're super powerful. But if we're like, you know what, we're going to annihilate these people and we openly say it, what's to stop Iran, who has nukes, to just nuke? Like, why wouldn't they?
Well, I wouldn't take Trump at his word to begin with, and I don't think he put a lot of thought into it. As a matter of fact, his people tried to walk it back after he said it. But he's not talking about annihilating them. He's talking about moving them to Egypt and Jordan, which
Yeah, but
also
Egypt and
isn't
Jordan
gonna
are
happen.
saying, nope, not here. So then it's like, what do you do then?
Right.
Not my backyard.
Well, we do give a tremendous amount of financial support to Egypt. So I think
Not
Trump
anymore
thinks,
now with
I think
USA
Trump.
going.
I think Trump thinks he can leverage that.
Yeah, I mean, the fact if the Egyptians, their Arab neighbors, are like, hell nah. You
What's
guys
that
can't
say?
come in. I
What's
know.
that say? Seriously,
No, I know.
it's ridiculous.
By the way, the doorbell rung. I don't know who that was.
all right, well, you can't get it.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
probably not mom.
Could be my money's it's a package that mom probably ordered. Who is that person?
Let me see.
Who
A
is it?
census worker or something,
Oh,
right? It's
fuck
got to
that.
be someone vote for their vote or something, right?
Oh yeah, Ours looks like from the city.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you want to say, what are you here for? You're on a podcast? On the Ring?
Nah, fuck it.
Yeah, whatever. They'll leave it.
They'll come back. It's all right.
What do you think
Sunday.
about? Did you see Trump posted yesterday? He said, "I'll just read you the exact tweet. I think it'll be better to read it."
No, I didn't see it because I'm not on.
You're not on Twitter.
I'm
That's
not
true.
Twitter.
So I want to get your.
Oh, do you see that?
Yeah. Did
Oh,
you
give
see
me
it?
a fuck
We can watch
yeah!
that.
Did you see that?
We'll watch it. I don't
You
think so.
you can't imagine.
So
I mean,
Trump
look, I know
tweeted-
you're more of a I respect the liberal thing, but wait till you see this. It's like fucking clowns.
Trump tweeted, "He who saves his country does not violate any law."
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I think he's trying to catch on to what the Supreme Court said about anything that he does in his capacity as president is not illegal. He can't be held legally, criminally responsible for it.
But when I like,
And why tweet it though? Like,
what
why
do you
do
mean?
that?
Because he's well. When I like what Trump has been doing the last couple of weeks, but when I see that, I'm like, that's exactly that's exactly what everyone on the left feared Trump felt. I mean, literally, he's saying that he's above the law. He just tweeted that just out of nowhere, and then he got a lot of backlash. And then the White House, so he tweeted from his private or his
I don't
personal
know
account.
why he does that.
He tweeted it from his personal account, and then the next day, today, the White House retweeted it with his picture, and they retweeted. So that's like he's standing behind it. He
looks
who
good there,
saves his
actually.
country does not violate any law. So a lot of people on the right online have been retweeting at that with like, "We're behind you."
But we
Reposting pictures of Napoleon, right? Napoleon was democratically elected to, well, he kind of forced it, but Napoleon was democratically elected as one of 3 people to lead France. And then he overthrew the other 2 and said, "I am now a dictator."
Well, Hitler was democratically elected.
Yeah.
okay. You equated,
Again, a
you
little-
equated Trump to
No, I'm
Hitler.
just saying, yes, these people were democratically elected.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so you can be democratically elected and break the law
And
and,
then-
think that what you're doing is for the benefit of your country.
Right. And that's the thing is like, if Trump thinks that the law doesn't matter because he's saving the country, it's like that's actually the exact opposite. But then what's scary is a lot of people on the right were like, they were literally retweeting at him. The Constitution's just a paper. We're behind you. The military is behind
He's not putting
you.
any thought behind these comments.
No, that's
He's
just
stream
stupid.
of conscious. He's just saying. Sometimes he's saying things to troll the left, and sometimes he's just saying things because he's bored.
Yeah, but if the White House
Yes.
retweeted it,
Well,
which
he's
means
the
that it
White
went through
House.
people. But he,
Okay, but the White House before he was
So you-
fucking
no,
off.
but I'm just asking, so you're okay with Trump
Number
saying
one
that?
is I think it's just stupid. Why even say it? It's just stupid. But so far he's been, I think, doing great stuff for our country.
So
He's not
should
broken
he-
the law. But on the same, because you can't ask me a general statement. I have to see what the fact by if there's
Well, I
a
wasn't-
specific thing.
what was I going to ask you?
Should he be able to break the law? I thought you were going to ask me.
Yeah.
All right, so therefore that's exactly that's a general thing. I don't think
What do you
anyone
mean
should be able
that's
to
a
break the law.
general thing? Well, what's specific?
Okay. I mean,
Should Trump be able to break laws? Is that more
no,
specific?
No. What I'm saying is there was a law that with the either pronouns or men and women's sports, that was a law. So
But you just last week, I was arguing on the other side of that. I was actually, remember we were talking about the marijuana thing? Remember we were talking about pardoning marijuana? And you said, and I was like, it's stupid that shouldn't be on the criminal record because now it's not illegal anymore. It's right.
But at the time
And-
it was.
Exactly. And you said, so because they chose to break a law, they should always be held
but
accountable.
that's a different from pardon.
But now you're saying there are laws that were like transgender pronouns. If you ignore that, but that's the law.
How do you feel about him putting pressure on the Southern District U.S. Attorney to drop the charges against Eric Adams?
I don't know enough about the situation.
Okay, but the lawyer from the Southern District clerked under Scalia. She participates in the Federalist Society. She is a tried and true conservative. She felt that there was a criminal case to be had, but Trump, for whatever reason, probably not based on an analysis of the law that was broken, felt that it was in his personal best interest to drop these charges, have these charges dropped, and he pressured her to do that. And 7 U.S. attorneys, others of whom were also conservatives, resigned in the face of having to prostitute their career and the work that they had done to this president? You said you think he's doing a good job so far.
What were the charges?
Wait, I have a question. Number one is I don't know if your facts. I'm saying I don't know if what your facts were saying actually completely 100% true or skewed on your position because you're anti-Trump, which I respect. If that's your position. But one thing we do know, and so I don't know how to answer that because I don't know enough about when you say put pressure on these people. You put this conclusory statement that gives a little more weight to it.
Take it. Let's
But
say
one
it is
thing we
true.
do know is we do know Biden in office clearly did things with his son.
Why?
And
How do you
Look,
know?
we could get
How
in-
is that?
we could get into whataboutism. We can do all that.
Right,
But we're
but
just talking about Trump now today. You said you like the things he's doing.
100%.
Okay,
And
so
by the way,
I'm
so
just
do a lot
gonna
of
point
people.
out two
So do a
things.
lot of people in that are Democrats.
I'm
Okay,
just
sure.
going to point out two things. One, he did. I mean, you could look if you turn the channel from Fox to any other channel, you'll see this, or you could just Google it. Her letter of resignation, the letter of the clerk for Kavanaugh, who also resigned and sent a very scathing letter about what they're being made to do in the U.S. Attorney's office.
But what was the case? What were they
case was
bringing
that
charge?
it was basically a bribery case. He took benefits from the country of Turkey or people who had interests in Turkey, and this is much more petty than what we were talking about earlier when lawyers take escrow funds. The Turkish government needed permits to open their building in New York, their embassy that they had just built, and they needed to go through the rules, but they were having trouble with meeting those rules. So they gave Adams campaign funding, free trips to Turkey, first-class tickets
Oh,
on
right.
Turkish
Remember we
Air,
talked about that.
all this
We
petty
talked
stuff.
about
Oh,
And
Mayor
he
Adams.
put pressure.
Okay, now I know. Mayor Adams from the city. I remember when he took right. I understand that. Now I know what that case
But how
is
does Trump
about.
get in? What
What was
was
Trump's involved?
So Trump,
I know about the case. I'm
so
sorry.
Trump, in my opinion, and I do have a serious case of Trump
do you
derangements.
like Mayor Adams?
Not a huge fan of Mayor Adams, but I know you can't be a fan of Mayor Adams. So Mayor Adams came to the White House and groveled, and that's what the president likes, right? He's completely into fealty. If you bend a knee to me, I'll help you out. So Adams was in trouble. He went to the White House. He said, look, I need your help. What can I do for you? The quid pro quo that is in the press is that Adams is going to cooperate with all of Trump's efforts to deport illegal aliens from New York. He's going to cooperate and do that kind of thing.
Are
That's
you
what's
okay
out
with
there.
the illegals being
Well,
deported?
wait, that's a whole. That's a whole.
I mean,
different thing.
we can get in. Yeah, I'm okay with illegals being deported.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. But I just think
Let me
you
ask you a
have
question.
a Democrat.
Let me ask you a question
Democrat,
about
and they
you.
dropped the charges against him.
Let me ask him. Let me ask your question. I don't think anyone's in a position of power or what their role as a fiduciary should you. I know that's what people do and the business people do. A lot of it's connections, who you know. But if that's outside his power and his realm, he should not use his influence.
He being the president.
Yes, or
agree
anyone
with you.
for that matter should not do that.
Wait,
Now,
but what specifically did he do? I don't understand.
I don't know.
He pressured the U.S. Attorney's office.
What does that even mean, though? Pressure. That's a big term.
But isn't that also what
He
the president's
ordered-
supposed to do?
No, the Justice Department is supposed to be separate from the presidency. And what he did was he invoked himself into the decision of that U.S. Attorney's office. They made the decision to
In what
pursue
way?
charges.
In what
He
way?
told
Pursue charges
them-
against Adams,
He told
you're saying.
them to make a motion to drop the charges, to end the case. That's what he told them to do. And that's what the eighth person did after the first 7 U.S. attorneys resigned their position in protest, refusing to file the motion to drop the charges.
Okay, but you don't think in the whole political arena, whether Democrat or Republican, all of them in the political arena say, make this happen or make that go away. They
Not
do
to this extent.
But I think
Wait,
that's
wait.
what politics is.
I think
you
it's
do
not
something
to
for
this
me,
extent.
I'll
no,
do
I don't know if I
something for
agree
you.
with you on that,
Okay.
Jeff. I think that
But that's literally like
all
the-
politicians say, listen, I'm calling my favor, wink, wink.
That's what
make
politics
that go
is.
away.
We literally
They
have a
usually
position.
do that in the last month in office as they're
No,
leaving.
I don't agree with you on
They
that.
don't usually do it. They don't usually do it on day one when he had the charges dropped or pardoned or commuted sentences of the people from the January 6th rioting. That is the second thing that I would ask you about when you say you like the things that he's doing so far.
I was against the pardoning January 6th, but I was against the January. I don't even think a lot of the January 6th stuff should have been prosecuted anyways. But I
neither.
also was against the
Okay,
pardons.
but Jonathan, what do you think about those people who were either convicted or pled guilty, who there is video of them attacking police officers and threatening
What
members
videos?
of Congress?
Show
do you
the
think they should
videos.
have been?
Show the videos. I disagree with you. Show the videos of that.
Okay. Do we have time to do it? I'll call
Yeah.
up the videos.
Yeah, there's no
Give me that
videos
computer.
of attacking.
But also, just because you plead guilty to
There's no
something doesn't mean
videos
you're
of
guilty.
attacking. You really got to turn the channel from Fox.
now and watch what your CNN.
You watch ABC, NBC,
Wait,
CBS,
let's see if
CNN,
we're on a common
MSNBC.
ground. Do you think that the media establishment and the political establishment embellished what happened at January 6th for their own personal gains and political gains? Or do you think everything as was reported was 100%?
So
you watch
the news is a
The
business.
View is
The
your
new-
news,
the
right?
news is a business.
Is
right?
The View your
when
news?
you say that they did it to promote their own interests, certainly that's what the news is. They're selling commercial time, ad time. But I saw the videos.
But not for
with
political slant.
I saw the videos with my own eyes. I watched it on January
What about
6th.
the BLM riots in all
Wait,
in
hold on.
LA?
Stop
Again,
doing-
what about
yeah, stop
we
going
can do
there.
all the
But we're
whataboutism.
talking about January 6th.
We're talking about people who are supposed to be law and order,
I
a president
watched-
that's supposed to be law and order.
Why did the president have to do?
Wait, hold
Why
on.
why was that the president's doing? Can you tell me?
Why did he do it?
No,
Why did he do it?
No, what did he do? What did
He
the president do?
commuted the sentences and pardoned those people convicted.
What did the president do that caused that January 6th event? Why is the president doing?
We can go back to that. That's not what
January
we're talking about.
6th
We're
is so
talking about
boring.
for,
Fuck
what,
January
for whatever
6th.
happened, for whatever reason. We have video and evidence that Republican judges and Democratic judges and Republican juries and Democrat juries convicted people of crimes of violence against the police and against our institutions. And this president, when he came in, pardoned those convicted individuals. You good with that?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Just like I'm not good with Biden pardoning Fauci.
Okay. Well, that's just a
But what-
conspiracy
but
theory.
what-
That's not a conspiracy. That's a reality.
And what would you charge Fauci with?
Oh my God, he's one of the most corrupt fucking.
Well, wait,
criminals
he
ever.
hasn't been. But you
He's
say,
never even been charged, right?
Freddie hasn't gone through the process. You're
So
saying
why
these people
pardon?
were found guilty, these January 6th
Yes.
people, because they went through the process. But before they went through any judicial process, you were probably saying they should be in jail because they did this. But hey, what would they be charged with? They haven't gone through.
I wasn't saying that. I was saying they should go.
But you said I
tried.
watched with my own eyes.
Yes.
They assaulted. So already they were guilty in your mind.
The people who I saw commit a crime were guilty in my eye. Absolutely.
But do you not also know that I believe it's like 30% of the people that were involved in January 6th have now been officially deemed as FBI informants and or agents?
I absolutely
So-
do not know that to be a fact.
Yes.
That I would strongly doubt. You're saying 30%
I don't have
of
an
the
exact
people
number.
who
A
entered,
good amount of people
who
were-
entered the Capitol were FBI informants.
Meaning like they have worked with the
informants,
FBI.
not
full
FBI
agents.
people. Okay.
No.
All right.
Informants.
Okay.
Just like, you know, the Gretchen Whitmer abduction. Do you know about that one?
I do know about the
And
Gretchen
so
Whitmer
it was like
abduction. I
8
watch
of
all
the-
the channels.
It was like 8 of the 13
Yes.
were FBI informants, not agents.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah.
were
Yes.
they were prodded to do things.
Yeah, there was an investigation, and the FBI potentially entrapped them.
Right.
Do you
So
think
is that
do you
not-
think their motives were pure? Do you think that they want to
The people's motives?
the people that the FBI informants helped entrap in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot?
Yes.
Do you think those people were innocent of and had good intentions?
No, but that also doesn't mean that they would
Okay,
have done it without being prodded by our own government
Okay, so-
agencies
yeah.
to
So,
do it.
So I'm not addressing that, and I don't know exactly how strongly they were prodded. Okay, I do recognize that there are issues there, right? That's an open question. We would need to know all the facts. But
I
the-
saw
the
with my
people-
own eyes the Capitol Police removing barriers.
Correct. And
Outside of the
opening
Capitol.
doors. We have videos of
Well,
them.
I watched it live
unlocking
as,
doors for
it
them.
was happening. I watched Capitol Police remove barriers and let people in.
Okay, so the people that they let in,
Yeah.
not talking about those people, talking about people that there was
what
evidence
about
shown
those
in
people?
court. So if they did nothing wrong, if all they did was walk in, look around the Capitol, take a picture in the statuary hallway, they should not be convicted of any crime.
Yeah. Assaulting
Not
a
talking
police
about those
officer,
people.
they should be is
Yeah.
a crime. I agree with you.
I agree with
I'm
that.
100% on that
So-
page as well.
But
But
Trump
what about-
pardoned-
I don't think they
but
should be
Trump
pardoned.
pardoned those
Oh, I was
people.
against the pardons.
Okay.
I thought
And what
even
about
just
the two?
optically.
What about the two leaders? The leader of the Proud Boys and the other organization that he pardoned.
So the leader of the Proud Boys was a fucking FBI informant. That just came out. He had been talking with FBI for a while.
Okay, that doesn't absolve him of crimes.
No, but it certainly makes it way more sus.
That's suspect.
Yeah, you know, I get it.
Suspicious.
I speak millennial.
I
Are you
don't.
a millennial?
I don't.
I'm right on the cusp. I'm a border.
Okay.
It's certainly when I there have been so many declassified Government.
Can I just break the fourth wall up for a second? How are we doing? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Am I being too talky? Or
No, you're a little
no.
too close to me, but other than that, we're okay.
I had to get in the frame.
You're good.
You
You're
told
in
me
the
to
frame.
get
I
in the
promise you.
I have, after seeing,
You're doing great, Jeff. You're
after
doing great.
reading history of the American administrative state, let's say, since the 20s, more so since the 50s, the fuckery that they have done on the American citizens is so abhorrent that when
What's that mean?
Terrible.
Yep. Okay.
That when I hear, oh, something really bad happened and people are going to jail, and this was a huge political thing that the government has now been using as a political tool for 3 years to try to, get their agenda in line. And then I also hear, oh, there might have been some FBI prodding to get this done. I'm like, okay, then the whole thing is fishy. To me, then the whole thing
Couldn't the
is tainted.
FBI have just
I
been
just put the
prodding
garbage out
to
tomorrow's
try and
President's Day. Go
could
ahead.
the FBI have been using these informants to try and stop bad things from happening?
But the bad thing happened. So then the FBI failed.
Again.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So either way, it's the FBI. Either way, it's bad.
Let's get to the elephant in the room. You rather have Kamala?
Absolutely.
Oh, God, Jeff. Okay, Jeff, let me explain something to you.
School
I
me,
must
Jonathan. School me.
really fucking like you because I don't really deal with people that would vote for Kamala.
Well,
now,
so
I
I
get
guess
if
let's
you don't
ask
want to vote for
why.
I do, I'm being honest with you, I 100% do get people saying, I don't want Trump. I do get that. I want Trump. But I have no issue if someone says to me, I don't want Trump. I really mean that
Okay,
sincerely.
but
Wait,
that's
let me
what I'm
finish
saying
first.
because she wouldn't have been my
No,
first choice.
let me finish for a second. I'm being truthful when I tell you, like, if someone says, I don't like Trump, I don't, for these reasons, whatever, that's fine. I have zero issue with someone not agreeing with me on that. And that's fine because I don't want everyone to be me because then I wouldn't be so special. And I like people learning from people's different views and opinions from me. So I'm being truthful when I say, like, if someone says to me, God, Trump's God, he's the Messiah, or this or that, whatever. And it to me, that's just as so crazy and so absurd as the people on the far left side that I'm like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of what he does, and there's things that he doesn't do that I don't like. But the majority of what's important to me, that's why I voted for him. And I have to pick the first 4 or 5 important topics to me. But when someone says to me, I like Kamala Harris, I have to tell you.
Okay, well, wait, let's ask him why.
No.
It's
I
an
have to tell
alternative,
you.
right?
Wait,
That
I have
was
to
the
tell.
alternative.
Okay, I have to tell you. There is not one fucking redeeming. There's not. No, not redeeming.
How about that she's not Donald Trump?
No, see, no, it doesn't work. If she was our president
How
right
about
now,
that her vice president wouldn't tell the Germans
by the
not
way-
to feel so guilty about their actions in World War II and to stop obsessing over
The
it?
By
current
the way-
Germans shouldn't feel guilty about their.
Why should they feel guilty?
I shouldn't feel
Germans.
guilty about my grandparents in World War II.
Why should the Germans today have? I don't relate. I don't
truthfully,
equate
yeah.
the Germans today to what their grandparents did.
Like we went to Japan. I don't think anything that the Japanese
Not
currently,
Jeff.
but the
Not a
Japanese
million
were
years.
the Japanese were bombed our country. They were our absolute enemies. The Japanese now are different people.
I would never
Why should the
fault
Germans feel guilty?
a German today
Wait, hold on,
for what
let's-
happened in the 30s or
The
40s.
idea is
early
not
40s.
for the Germans to feel guilty. It's for the Germans to continue with this education process, to continue memorializing and remembering what happened so it doesn't happen again. Look,
It hap- wait,
I
wait.
can't
It
say it.
happens in
I can't
America,
say it
Jeff.
as well as the Chancellor of Germany said
Jeff.
it in response to what Vance said. So you could Google that or look that up. The German people have made a decision that they want to make sure what happened to their country never happens again. And our vice president went there on German soil and said, "You guys got to back off this. You're too focused on this."
Well, I mean, focusing on it could honestly be a problem. If their children in Germany are growing up, right, to play that side, if their children are growing up all day, every day, they're being told
They're not growing
they're
up
being
all day,
told-
every day. But
okay,
the
so
vice
let's-
president is telling them that they should stop pushing
Focusing on it so much.
No, more than that. He's saying you have a right-wing party, the AfD, that has toyed with Nazism in terms of their symbols that they put out and the language that they use. And he's telling them, you as a government should accept this party, the AfD party, and bring them in and let them have leadership positions. That's what he's saying. You should look this up.
But
Sort
if
of like-
that's Democrat. Look, I don't agree with Nazism.
But it's not
if
democratic.
If enough people,
it's not democratic. They haven't gotten the vote.
but if they do, why shouldn't they be let in?
Okay.
We allowed
if
all
a
the- we
right-wing
allowed the-
Nazi party gets the vote,
They should be let in. That's a democracy.
that is
I'm
a
against
democracy.
it.
Okay. So
Wait, Jeff,
No,
we
but
don't
for
have
real, should
Muslims
they
in
not-
our Congress.
Wait, but
and-
what is-
no, I'm saying we don't have people in our Congress or our political justice system as well that are so anti-America. And under Biden's administration, look what happened to all the colleges, the universities, which they fucking allowed. Okay, it was all under there.
Wait,
Did
let's
nothing.
stick to one-
No, I'm saying, but there's so much anti-Judaism, Nazism, hating the fucking Jews, abuse to the fucking police that they would, the police couldn't do anything about it. All the shit that happened in the Biden administration against the American Jew. For the first time in my 8 years in America, I spoke to fellow Jews. They were afraid of walking the streets, afraid of wearing the Jewish star or having mezuzahs up. The all-time high gun purchases were among Jews. Even liberal Jews who were anti-guns were buying guns. First time in my entire life under Biden's administration allowed it, which had a lot to do with the fucking.
okay,
I don't think that was Biden's
if the
fault.
AFD gets control in Germany, that what you're describing to the Jews in America, that would be child's play.
Right, but if they are chosen by the Germans,
Yes. If a Nazi
that
party,
just-
if a Nazi party that
Yeah.
wanted to persecute the Jews,
yeah,
was elected by the German people,
yes.
It could
think
happen.
that as America, we wouldn't want to do something about that.
But who are we to do something about
Well,
it?
then why is Vance doing something about it now? Why
No,
is he
he's-
telling them what
Vance
to
is
do?
not telling us no.
He's doing what he's not doing anything about it.
We're
The
not
German
talking-
government.
The German government is not saying that you can't vote for these people. They're saying we make coalitions, right? They have a government
Right.
with coalitions. Most of the people in their government don't want to join with the AFD to make a leadership party.
Sure.
Okay.
Which
Nothing
is
wong
fine.
with that.
No, nothing
That's
wrong with that.
That's
I
democracy
don't
also.
think
100%.
Vance is against that either.
No, Vance is saying include the AFD. That is what he said yesterday.
No, I'm telling you right now, if you look exactly what Vance said, so you're against
Ronnie, can
Vance.
you
can look
call
it
it
up.
up?
Yeah, yeah.
Call
Look
it
it
up.
up.
Say
No.
what did JD Vance say to the
I will. I'll call that up. I personally think that constantly victimizing a people, right? If the German government is victimizing their heritage to their new their next generation, I think that has negative and opposite effects. Post World War I, Germany was demonized by the world. You guys caused all this. You have to pay us all back. You guys are all evil. The world would be a better place if it wasn't for all of you. And that's what caused the rise of the Nazi Party. Germany felt so down because the world was telling them that they were bad and evil and caused all this destruction, that it paved the way for Hitler to come and be like, you know what, Germans, we're not bad. We can be proud of who we are as Germans, and that's what the National Socialist Party rose.
He also said
to see that side.
He also said
is Vance
we
not
need
saying
to.
that?
He also said we need to scapegoat certain people, which is the reason why
Vance
we lost
said
the
we need
war.
to scapegoat
No.
certain
The
people?
Germans in '39. We need to scapegoat these people. This element of society, whether
Yes.
it's the Jews, the Romanians, the gays, the Gypsies, whatever.
It was everyone.
Yeah, we it's their fault.
Yeah.
And we need to take it out on them. That's the issue. And
That
the problem.
doesn't
Listen,
happen.
but
Look at
listen,
Kanye West
a
against
lot
the
of what's
Jews.
going,
Hold on,
a lot of
Paul.
what's going on with the right today is the same thing that was going on in Germany in the 30s.
Not even close.
The individuals, they were economically depressed, and in Germany it was because they were paying these reparations.
Right, because
and
the world was like,
Okay.
you guys are bad.
So here today we have a class of individuals who feel like they're not being heard, they're not getting a fair shake, just
Who?
like the Germans in
Who?
'39. Well, many people that rallied to Trump's support and said
Like
we're going
working class
to
people,
we're going
you
to
said.
overturn the elites.
yes.
We're going to take this over. We're not being heard. So there are some
agree with that.
scary parallels.
yeah.
So you think the right side is like the Nazi regime?
No. But
You keep trying to make me call them Nazis. I'm just saying that you have
Well, that's what you're inferring.
You have
But I-
a group
That's you're
of
analogizing.
people.
Wait,
You
stop
have
talking over each
you have a
other.
group of people who felt that they were downtrodden and that they were going to take over, and
Yes.
we had to focus on them. Right in Germany, it was we had to
Are we
all
talking
the
about?
outsiders.
Are we talking about BLM? Or are we talking about the right wing?
We're talking about the right wing.
Well,
Okay,
both,
sorry,
but
sure.
but to be fair, BLM and a lot of
Was
the left movement
more
says
damaging.
America is against us. We need to revolt.
Let's beat up the
Right.
let's
Wait,
beat up white people. Let's beat up
okay.
the cops.
So-
let's
but-
damage
so-
and burn
but
everything.
they were
there's
saying
a-
the system
those
is
were
against
peaceful
us.
protests.
you
They were
said-
saying the system's against
Right.
us.
You
It's
s-
set up
right.
against us. We need
Earlier-
to revolt.
Earlier, you said that you've looked in and read up on how the government has dealt with the people since the 20s and then the 50s,
Yeah.
and it was fucked up. if you're a minority, you could read up on this. The blacklining, the redlining, the fact that they couldn't get mortgages, that they weren't entitled to the GI Bill, other things. And I am not pro DEI. I'm not woke in any way. But if you were to look at their perspective, they feel like the system's been against them.
And I don't disagree.
Okay.
But does that...
I agree with you on that.
But then your analogy is saying... You were saying there's scary parallels because there's a segment...
Well, there are.
There's a segment of the American population that feels that the government is out against them. Mm-hmm. They need to step up, revolt, change the system, overthrow.
What's wrong with that?
Well, that could apply to both the
Yes.
working class
Both.
whites
Yes.
that voted for Trump and the BLM
Yes.
blacks.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that.
But you only drew the parallel to Nazism
I
for
am
the whites.
Because that's what it works for them.
No. I am, because the Germans were saying that we, the true Germans, are being downtrodden by all of these outsiders. And the right wing is saying that also. They're saying that because of DEI, because of affirmative action, we don't have a fair shake. All these outsiders, Trump says they're a stain on our genetics. Vance talks about real Americans. Sarah Palin talked about the real America.
But what
they're talking about white people.
What's wrong?
Why is
America?
Why is Vance saying the real Americans talking about white people?
Right. He's not married to a white person.
Well, I'm just asking. Why does him saying the real Americans? Why in your mind does those two words mean white?
Because you have to take it in context, Bronny. When he's saying, when the administration, which he is a part of, is saying that we had a plane crash outside of Reagan International Airport and it's because of DEI.
But it was a white woman.
Okay, but
that wasn't a white thing.
At the time, they felt two things. They felt that we weren't taking the best people into the air traffic controllers and into the military. And they also, I understand from what I've read, felt that it was a transgender pilot who was in another helicopter that was up at the same time.
It was a white woman. But even then, transgender, that doesn't mean white America. You said what the real America is white people.
They're talking about all kinds, the right wing, the message. They're talking about they're talking about white America. When Sarah Palin says New York is
white people. I said, why did Vance is saying the real America?
Because it's
a white woman.
It's in context with doing away with DEI, saying that the military should not promote Black History Month. If you look at everything that's going on,
why should we promote Black History Month?
Hold on a second. You talk about.
I was against the Black History.
Who we want to move. Who we want to. Right. The big thing is immigration, and we have to deport people. Last week, Trump suggested that the Afrikaners, the white South Africans, should be brought to America to protect them from what's going on in South Africa. He feels that
he also wants to bring in all the Indians on the H-1B visas. Those aren't white people.
I have not heard that he wants to bring in the Indians on H-1B visas. That might be Musk and some of the other techno bros.
Trump was all for it, and I was against it.
But see how you listen, you obviously are slanted because when
I don't agree with the Afrikaans thing.
When he said that, you said that might be Musk. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Anti-Trumpers who would vote for Kamala, would be the fucking nail in the coffin of our country, would be fucking done. If Kamala Harris, with that dumb fucking idiot, if she was our president, we'd be fucking done. Done. You'd be done. Okay, everyone would be done. Now,
that's a general statement.
Wait, that's a reality.
Ridiculous. If we're going to survive Trump, we can certainly survive Kamala.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Okay.
You're going to benefit from Trump.
I don't agree with bringing the white Afrikaans people over here.
Okay,
but I don't think there should be any.
When you look at things like that, and you look at Trump talk about certain shithole countries, that's his quote. It is a black and white thing with him.
But the shithole countries, a lot of those were also Middle Eastern, and
there are shithole countries.
The shithole countries were black.
No, wait, are there not shithole countries? Jeff, are there not shithole countries? Wait, by the way, there are
countries I went vacation.
First of all, are there shithole neighborhoods in New York?
Absolutely.
There are shithole countries. Your kids went to fucking top private schools because you didn't want them going to the shithole inner city fucking public schools. All right. You live in a fucking beautiful place. You travel the best place in the world. You probably fly first class. You live a great fucking life. And you know what? And you should.
I draw the line at first class.
And you should. And you know why? You drive nice cars because you worked hard for it. You busted your fucking ass as a result of it. And your parents did too. And as a result of generation to generation, they benefit from the hard fucking work. And you're not a freeloader. Your dad was very successful, self-made guy from the fucking Bronx. And you could have not been a fucking bum, and you busted your fucking ass, and you're an owner of a big firm in fucking Manhattan, and your kids bust their fucking ass, and although your kids, you buy them nice things because you can and you do. My point is, it makes you, I get it, but that is what, so when you say shithole countries, I guarantee you know what the fucking shithole countries are. But because Trump says it, it's terrible and whatever. And by the way, wait, I want to say something. In America, let fucking America become America again. Stop with the fucking wokeism, the all the bullshit, all the minuscule things that have no meaning. And how about starting to produce America? Take care of Americans first. Take care of the homeless in America. Take care of the vets in America. Stop with everybody else. And let me finish. And make where everybody has to feel good about themselves. So we accommodate everybody. Fuck everybody. Take care of our own first, and let us become the superpower again, and as a result of it, then the trickle-down effect. I'm tired of giving the fucking billions of dollars and millions of dollars to all these other fucking places, and to go back, which you're talking about the BLM shit, whatever. I agree. I agree 100% that if they feel things are not going right and the government's not taking them, they have a right to do what they want, to riot. And I agree that if the middle class, the working class have a problem with the government, I agree they should riot. The difference is not riot. The difference is no one should harm anybody, and no one should harm people's property. The difference between when you keep trying to make this innuendo or this announcement, but with the right wing and Trump and Vance, who I think fucking Vance is great, with the whole Nazism shit, whatever. The difference, Jeff, is that the one wants to Hitler and the Nazi regime wanted to annihilate and kill everybody. There's a different thing. Have you been to Germany and seen what they did? Have you gone to Poland and seen what they did? Well, if you saw what they did and you really learn about the fucking Holocaust and how they experimented on fucking Jews and what the shit they did, the mind fuck, the way they put them in the cattle cars. We were actually in the cattle cars. We saw the shit they did. We saw the rooms they did. I walked in the gas chambers. I don't even
know where we
because I feel like I'm here under false pretense. I thought we were talking about sex and dirty jokes.
I just don't even know where we are.
Really inappropriate stuff.
All right, let's go.
But
back
I don't even
to
know what that where.
What I'm trying to say is I'm all in favor if black people who feel that they're not being heard to go ahead and do what they do to try, but not harm people or harm people's or harm property that doesn't belong to them. Same with the middle class.
But he's not saying he wants.
I don't know.
Ron, are you going to tell us what Vance said? I see he's up on your screen.
Is it this? Do you know? Because there's a few.
I can't see it. Where is the? If
we look
up Vance and AFD, that's what we need to be looking up. You look at that guy, you don't want to punch him in the face?
Oh, I think he's fucking great. Brilliant. Better than Trump. Why wouldn't you want to punch his face? Well, Kamala, you like Kamala? Her laugh? Her fake accents?
Yeah, I like her laugh.
And you like her vice president, the guy who's full of shit? Come on, Jeff.
That was a good father. This is a daddy issue show. That man is a good father.
He's a good father?
Good father.
Why? How do you know he's a good father?
Because I saw his son react to him. Yeah. He's a good father.
Because he lied about being a coach?
No, his son is mentally challenged.
Yeah. And
crying.
And he spent the time with that son.
What's he going to leave him?
But then did you see him slap his son away?
I did not see him slap the son away, but
his son came up to him to ask him something, and he swatted him away. My kids
went to the school that Barron Trump went to before Trump was president.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a father at all. He might have been a sperm donor. He's not a father.
Okay,
he's not a father to those kids.
Being a good father, one way or the other, I don't think makes for a good president or not.
No, these are daddy issues. I'm trying to bring it back.
Why his kids are all good kids? They're not crime. They're not doing what Hunter Biden did. You're not hitting them about being them arrested. I'm just saying. Just saying. Listen, he might run a tight ship. There's no
Don Jr. does coke publicly in front of every camera.
No doubt
he's doing crimes.
Okay, there's no doubt that I'm sure Trump was not around. I mean,
I don't think anyone claims Trump to be a good father. I don't think that's a claim.
No, I was just reacting to the comment about the Waltz, Tim Waltz. But what do we have here on Vance?
Tim Waltz.
I can't. My thing isn't connecting to this. The cable's not working right now, but I can just play it out loud.
Okay, what is it?
Organizers of this very conference have banned lawmakers representing populist parties on both the left and the right from participating in these conversations. Now, again, we don't have to agree with everything or anything that people say. But when when political leaders represent an important constituency, it is incumbent upon us to at least participate in dialogue with them. Now, to many of us on the other side of the Atlantic, it looks more and more like old entrenched interests
Okay, I don't think this is
hiding
going very
behind
well.
ugly.
Do you disagree with? I agree with what he said.
I don't disagree with
He
what
said
saying.
we don't have to agree with anything
Right.
they're saying.
But we should.
No, we
But
should
if
give
there
them-
are
we should
political representatives,
We should give the AFD a platform and listen to what they have to say.
if they have a political, I am all for that. I do not support the First Amendment, free speech.
I do
I think-
support the First Amendment. Do you support the First Amendment?
Certainly.
Okay.
And so if
Do you know-
Nazis
do you-
gained enough
do you
power
know-
in this country,
do you know that
I-
Trump made the various agencies take out any reference to climate change? That they
and we talked about this. I was against that.
Okay, so
removing trans from the military website. I'm against that.
Okay, so good. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm glad to hear that you are for
Oh,
the First
fully.
Amendment. Yeah,
I'm
a lot of times that-
I'm the strongest person on the First Amendment. I think that the Nazis should be able to speak freely. I think if they got enough votes, they should be represented in Congress. That is democracy.
Yes, I agree with you on the votes.
If you are silencing, if you're not letting a political party participate, you are anti-democratic.
And Jeff,
And he said you don't have to agree with what they're saying.
Right. And I said I don't agree with everything Trump does, but I'm glad he's our president, and the most important things that that I believe in, he supports. But
Okay.
I that's why I said the people on the far left, or even the far right, that say he's this, he's that, he's perfectly no wrong. No, I think that's stupid because everyone can do.
But then
wrong.
what about how we got on this whole conversation? The "I am above the law" tweet that he just tweeted.
I said I think it's stupid. Why even do it? Stupid.
I
Okay,
think it's
it's
great we
more
can have
than
this
stupid.
conversation. I think it's great that we could have this conversation and disagree.
Well, that's the whole point of
let's
this
go out to
podcast.
dinner.
Why couldn't we?
But that's what it
No,
should be.
it's-
Up until
it's
5
very
years
good.
ago, that was what the
affect
whole world
anything.
was.
But I was okay with people disagreeing. You don't have to like what I have to say. It's your choice whether you want to be friends with me or not. But I'm allowed to say what I want to say.
Sure.
Right?
And just
Yes.
because someone,
I'm going to say correct instead of right.
Okay, correct.
I do think that you treated unfairly because
Sometimes that's true.
Trump tweeting, "I am above the law." It wasn't that verbatim, but that was the message. You say that's so stupid. When if Kamala, who you view as a socialist, going to have a socialist revolution, if she tweeted "I'm above the law," we would have had a whole hour-long episode of you ranting how dangerous that is.
The
And she
first-
thinks, but
the
when
first
Trump did it,
part,
you said
if Kamala
she's-
did it,
that's stupid.
I would have been like, how did she even know how to spell those words?
But
You did a good job with him as a father.
Thank you.
I really do think that that's the case. I mean, it is what
Okay,
it is.
by the way-
and it scares me that a lot of people on the right are like Trump,
wait.
just
And
as
the
people on the
left.
left. Of
By
course,
the
but,
way-
but still, that doesn't make it okay.
Wait, I'm not saying it's okay, but let me explain something. Number one is there's no question everybody to help support their position and who they like they think their children are the greatest or could do no wrong, whatever. Everyone has a view, a certain biasism to it, and a slant to it. That's just the way we are as human beings.
Sure,
And
but then
you
that
will
doesn't
down the road when your kid, for example, even if your kid did something wrong, whatever it is, or like when they say he commits a crime and you try to protect your kid, or the police come knock on the door and you say, my
what does
son's
that have
not
to do
here.
with Trump as
I'm
your
just
president?
saying,
He's
I'm,
not your.
I'm
he's
making
not
a
your kid. And he's
fucking
not your
analogy.
Your dad.
Meaning I'm making an analogy. If you let me finish, what I'm saying is we all have a tendency to slant things and skew things that work in our favor.
But
to
do you
get a
think
point
that's
across.
okay?
It's
Because you just said when Jeff said he brought up a point and then I refuted it with another thing and you said, "See, you're just skewed."
We
because
all
you're not
like
listening."
that.
I know, but you didn't like it when he did it. So are you okay
We all
doing
do
it?
it. That's what
no,
we
but
do.
I try not to. Why should we just accept? Because then Trump.
I'm
can,
not saying accept
But then
it.
Trump can keep working
No,
his
I'm
way
not saying
towards
accept it.
dictator.
I'm just saying this is what we do. You asked if I do. I said yes. Of course I do that. We all, and I'm just taking it one step further, making an analogy that this is human nature. Like when they say justice is blind, it does not exist. There's prejudice and biasism to everything we do, visually, smell, listening. This is what we do.
Okay,
But it's not instinctive.
But I agree with you that everyone has biases. But 15 years ago, it was never, my president and your president, my side, your side. It was the American people and the government. Now you're like, it's not that. You're saying it's my side. Yeah, if Trump fucks up, if he does things, he's like it's like when you have your kid. If your kid fucks up, you're on their side. It's like, no, that's not the case. We can't just let people get away with things because it's our
There's
side.
nothing to let
It's
it get away with. I know
but
it's
you just said,
deficiencies.
it's stupid. It's
no,
like,
I know it's efficient, but I am happy that he is the leader of our country.
so does that mean he can do things?
No, but I
So,
never said that.
I know, but okay, but what I'm saying, I know you never said that, but a lot of people on the right responded to this tweet and were like, they didn't have a problem with it, and then your only problem was, that's stupid.
Because I know
if
it's
anyone
dumb.
else did it, if Biden tweeted that, you would have been outraged. This podcast you would have reacted so differently. And it's like that, just because you like the guy doesn't mean that we can't, so just the Constitution's just gone, doesn't matter?
No, that's not even,
I think
that's a far leap.
I think that needs to sink in. I think he needs to sit with
And
that
you
for a little
too.
bit. Okay.
Are you on fucking
No,
drugs?
I think if Kamala-
Seriously, are you fucking retarded?
No, but I think a
Seriously.
lot of people on the left,
Really?
if
You
Kamala,
can't say retarded.
Oh, I can, and I do, and I will. Give me a fucking break.
I think in a
Kamala, you want Kamala because of him. You better fucking abstain and not voting. You sit on the boards. You are a board of director of various companies, okay? And you're gonna make you vote. This thing called yay, nay, or abstain. You chose not to fucking abstain. You know you fiduciary role.
no, but you
chose
know what
not to
abstain, because whenever I've said I don't want to vote because I don't like the candidates, you say you can't do that. That's helping the other side.
Okay, because I know who you can vote for. He should abstain.
I just think that there is a lot of people in this country
Yes,
that
ignorant
don't
people.
really care at this point in our evolution, that don't really care about the law. They just want their side.
100% correct.
And so in a month from now, if Trump was like, you know what, kind of fuck Congress. There's individual soldiers in the military support me. I'm just going to kind of do what I want to do and not listen to Congress. I think there's plenty of people in this country that would be like, okay. And I think you would be like, I don't really think I agree with that, but I like what Trump is doing,
But,
so I'm okay with that.
but
It's like,
maybe it's
even
time
if
for change.
No,
Maybe things change.
No, that's
I don't
the
know.
whole point of the Constitution.
You said you want to do it. First, when we started a podcast, I want to do a government altogether. You said,
Yeah,
I
but not
think
for a king, for a more strong democracy.
No, you
Our
said
democracy-
get rid of government and every state should run itself. Get rid of government altogether.
that's a more
I
strong
don't want
democracy.
government. I don't want government involved in anything. Those were your fucking words.
Right,
Go
but
back
if
to episode
Trump-
1.
Yes, exactly. That's a true democracy. Full power to the people. If Trump is a king, it's the opposite of democracy.
What's full power to the people?
The people that
How?
we decide what we want.
How do you decide that if you don't have government?
No, I never said fully no government. I said you're totally painting that wrong. You know that's not true. I never said no government. I said hyper localized government, where it's only regional, because I don't give a shit about what happens in Washington State.
So how
it doesn't affect me.
So if you keep it regional, do you break it down by state? Do you break it down by county?
I don't
What do
know.
you do?
I haven't
'Cause
fleshed out the whole
'cause every
process.
So now you have your states. So we have Florida.
Hey, Dad, stop. You know what?
No, I'm asking.
You're painting it in a much. So you are okay with Trump being a king,
No.
but you just said maybe there's time for a change.
No. I
If
said
Trump
you
is the
don't-
president,
You gave a specific thing. So I'd have to hear what it's about, why it is, and decide if it needs change or not.
no. I think both sides are
If
equally
Kamala
bad with
was
it. No, but
president,
I agree.
we would need change.
If Kamala was president and she would be trying to consolidate power, the Democratic Party would be trying to consolidate power, and it would become less power to us and more power to the government. I'm equally against that as I am with Trump trying to consolidate
Kamala
power.
would do this. Kamala would do this, Jeff. Just listen. She would let many more millions of illegals come in to New York.
Yes, that's true.
And you would not want that. So you know what you do? You say to your family, listen, honey, we have to leave our brownstone and we'd have to go to our house in the Hamptons. And people in Hamptons would never allow all the fucking illegals to be in the Hamptons, would they?
No, they actually shipped them. Oh, no,
Jeff,
that was
Jeff, would
Martha's
they?
Vineyard.
You would never have that.
You should drive by the Home Depot out in
wait.
Riverhead.
Yeah, but Riverhead ain't the Hamptons where you are, bro. Good try. He's trying to slant it. Give me a fucking break. Nice try, Riverhead.
Yeah, I'm not scared about more open borders. I wouldn't have open borders, but open borders don't scare me. What scares me is 1939, the Jews not being able to enter these borders. That's sort of my
Oh, really? So you're
North
not
Star.
scared about...
Well, you can be scared about multiple things.
Wait, you're not scared about 2025, have the where all our kids went to college and the way people are against Jews today in our fucking country
I don't think
today?
I don't think it's the illegal immigrants that are anti-Jew.
It's who create the fucking problem with the Jews? The fucking liberal Jews. You liberal Jews letting everybody in, the whole wokeism, giving, and being so fucking passive like a bunch of pussies caused the fucking problem to say, I'll walk back in the gas chamber again. Just show me where it is.
I think a lot of the Muslim immigrants over the last
Jews are
20
the
years
problem
have,
with the
have
Jews.
added to a lot of the anti-Semitism. I'm not saying that they're illegal immigrants, but they're immigrants. I think a lot of Muslim immigrants have, because like when you look at the college campuses, a lot of those protests after October 7th, the encampments, a lot of those were Muslim students who either are here on a student visa, so immigrants, or their parents were immigrated. I think a lot of them have caused a huge rise in anti-Semitism. And I think the liberal Democratic Party aligning themselves post October 7th with Islam as a movement, which makes absolutely no sense. Just on
they're fucking retards. That's why
it's just completely hypocritical because they stand for two completely different things. Just objectively, what they preach are complete opposites. I think that the Democratic Party saying we are aligning ourselves with the brown-looking people against the white-looking people, the Jews. I think that also opened the floodgates for a lot of anti-Semitism because most people are secretly anti-Semitic anyways.
Correct.
But now if
you could say it out loud.
Public political movements are like fuck Israel, fuck the Jews. Now it's like, oh, okay, I can
join
say
the bandwagon. So let's end on this. Number one is I'm actually upset I didn't wear my black MAGA hat. I should have worn that right now. That would have been fucking great. Number two is Jeff, great having you on as a guest. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
You just wanted to talk about dirty jokes and shit.
But do you have any?
No, I don't.
You have nothing fun to talk about?
Oh, no, not dirty jokes stuff.
Anything fun?
No, I don't really have anything fun.
All right, so I still love you. Always will. We're good. But America, let's make America the best fucking country in the world.
I just wish we had eggs. That's the one thing I don't like.
And it should be based
Trump.
on fucking merits and how you earn it, not being fucking give it. There's no free rides, period. No one's ever fucking free ride.
Guys,
on that note, well, I can't hear you, Jeff. Your mic might be off.
Thank you for sharing this hour with me, and thank you, Daddy Issue Nation.
We love you, Jeff. Good people. Good people.
All right.
Love you, Bronny. Hey, bye.
You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.